friends, how are you? I have finished reading another book. This one is The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. This was a beautiful story. It really was. I thought that it was written so well. It was one of those stories where you really felt like you were in the setting with the characters. So without giving away too many spoilers, the premise of the story is it is about this man who is a lightkeeper after World War I. And by lightkeeper, it means somebody who is in charge of maintaining and caring for the lighthouse. And because of when the story takes place, it wasn't automated or anything. It was an actual fire that he was in charge of maintaining and making sure that the light actually keeps burning. And it takes place in a tiny island in Australia. So the character is pretty isolated for the first part, and he falls in love with a woman and they live on the island together. They, for various reasons, they end up miscarrying, they can't have a baby, and then all of a sudden one day a baby appears on the island in a boat, and so they are sort of stuck with this thought of, should we keep the baby or should we send the baby back? So they end up keeping the baby, and then it talks about how the main character has a lot of guilt surrounding that. He knows it's not maybe the best choice or the right thing to be doing. He doesn't want to hurt his wife who has suffered so much anyway. So that's kind of, therein lies his inner conflict of whether he should tell and give the child back, you know. And so it kind of comes to say, you know, should they give the child back, should they not? What should happen? But the story was so beautiful, and I really liked the underlying message was that of why he's a light keeper, and it's to shine the light for others in the world that might need it, because while you're in a lighthouse you can't really see the light that's being projected, and I thought that that was a good analogy for other aspects in life. Specifically for me, being a Christian, you talk about a lot about sort of being that light for others in the darkness in case they need it. And so I thought that that was a really beautiful thing, and that he's sort of tied to this idea of serving others above himself, and so that's why he's not sure if keeping this baby and not saying anything, is that really serving what's right and what's good and true. So it was so good, like just the way that they described the island was really beautiful, and his conflict and sort of who he is and how the main character had been changed through being in World War I, and what, you know, and did all of this trauma and things that he suffered by being in war contribute to his having difficulty telling what's right and wrong in terms of serving his own interests later on in life. So a lot of deeper meanings and deeper themes run through this book, which I thought was really great. As much as I love just kind of straightforward fun books, I like books that also will present something a little bit more to think about, and this book certainly did that. They made this into a movie, which I didn't see, because as you know I don't really see that many movies, much less movies about books, but I was interested in this one because I thought the story was very good. So I think because the story is so good, I would be curious to see the movie, to see if it is as good as well, because I think so much of why I enjoyed it for two reasons. Number one, like I said, it sort of presented these other ideas and notions that I really like, but also you sort of just fall in love with your idea of what this character looks like and how he is, and how his wife is, and how this island is. So I don't know if a movie would be able to, you know, capture everything that I have in my mind about what I think all of that looks like. So anyway, but yeah, I did enjoy this. I thought that the end of the book, and I'm not talking about the decision about whether or not they gave the baby back, that's neither here nor there. I will not tell you what they did, but in the end, kind of what happens to the wife, I thought that was kind of not good. I feel like the book either could have ended, you know, 20 pages earlier, or it needed to go on and end in a different way. You know, it's sort of like remember in Lord of the Rings when the story's over, everything that you care about is over, and then all of a sudden you're like flashed forward several years and then you don't really get it or why, you know, you bring in all these other characters that all of a sudden you sort of care about but not really. So I don't like that, because that kind of happened in the book. You see kind of a flash forward of something, and it doesn't have too much to do with the story. It's just kind of, it's not really a good wrap up of the characters. It's just like, oh, well, that's not what I wanted to happen. So I didn't like that part. But other than that, a beautiful story. Really loved it. So yeah, that's my thought is on The Light Between Oceans. Let me know if you've read this or if you've seen the movie. I know a lot of people said that they cried at the movie, but that's, I cried at the end of the book, because it got me there at the end of the book. But yeah, so anyway, let me know what you thought, if you have checked this book out or if there are other books that you like, and I hope you all had a great day. Thanks. Bye.